Good Thursday evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the program. I, of course, am the one, and as far as science is aware, only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear from an undisclosed location somewhere in the swamps of sunny Central Florida. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night, and we have got a banger of a show for you tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun because in just a few minutes, we are going to be joined by Matthew TAPP. Matthew's been on the show a couple of times before. Matt has, well, you know what? I don't really want to steal his thunder. When Matt gets here, we're going to let him talk about all the cool projects he's got going on. And let me tell you something. He's brought a couple of guests with him too. That's right. It's not a solo act tonight. We've got a whole band here, and I'm really looking forward to that. Hey, if you like this content, would you do me a favor? Please just do me a solid. Doesn't cost you a dime. Click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications to find out when I do this kind of thing, because I do it 5 nights a week, but I also make appearances on pre-recorded videos. Sometimes we do stuff on Saturdays. And really, in this hustle and bustle world, these crazy times we live in, who's got the time to try and keep track of all of that in their heads when you can get the notifications from YouTube? So please, and again, I ask you, subscribe, bell icon, and that is so wonderful. And I will throw in that you can click the like button on this video for absolutely free, because that's just how magnanimous I am. But anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Now, it wouldn't be the standard Delver's Dungeon if we didn't talk a little bit about tonight's sponsor. Of course, tonight's show is brought to you by, let me just pull this up here real quick, Rising Phoenix Publications and their Kickstarter, Empire of the Undying Sun. And boys and girls, let me tell you something. If you like first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons as much as I do, hell, if you like it as a tenth as much as I do, then you're absolutely gonna want to check this out. This is a full campaign setting, not just for 5th edition, but for first edition AD&D. That's right. And you know what the cool thing is? If you like the stuff that I've done, if you like the modules that I put out, the stuff that's for sale, the stuff that's published for free, guess what? I was honored. I was privileged by the creator of the Empire of the Undying Sun, Yang Yan Zhao, to write the 1E conversion for this. And I have 3 sections in this campaign setting, 3 sections that I have written. Folks, there's 14 days to go. There's, oh my gosh, $3,200 left to go. Get in, back this book. I have seen some of the art. I have seen some of the campaign materials. Well, I hope I've seen the campaign materials. I'm converting them to first edition. This is awesome, guys. Please, 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 back this, get it over the finish line, because if you love 1E, then you can't not want to see more 1E stuff. You can just go out and buy. Yes, we all love Keep on the Borderlands. We all love Against the Giants. We all love White Plume Mountain, the Slavers modules, everything like that. How often these days can you grab a first edition? I don't mean like it's first edition like, or it's old school-esque. This will be for first edition, and I cannot give you a better example, as it were, of I'm working on it. I'm working to drive this, to mold this into a 1E product. So if you think I've got the old school fever, if you think I've got the 1E jazz, then back it today. I would really, really appreciate that, because it's a pretty awesome project, and Yang is a pretty awesome guy, and we're working to make something that you can break out for people who are ready to play some 1E. It is a dark horror fantasy campaign. I can't spoil too much. I'm under an NDA. So how much is the book? If you go Shadow and Sun, if you check out the Kickstarter, the link is up in the chat. There's different levels you can back it at. It's not out yet, but there will be different levels that you can that you can back it at. So please and thank you, everybody. So there's one other thing that I did want to mention. Just one slight other thing that I wanted to bring up, and that is if you're watching right now, if you're tuned into the show, maybe you haven't been here for a while, maybe it's the first time you stopped by one of our live streams, and you're looking at the screen and you're like, hey, is that a wood grain original D&D set you've got there, Bill? Is this some kind of prop? Is this just some kind of cardboard mock-up you've got here? The answer is no, because your eyes do not deceive you. This is a replica of the 1974 wood grain original release of Dungeons and Dragons, as was released back in January of that year. And I am offering 4 of these wood grain sets at the low price of, it is a drawing. You have a chance to win one of 4 reproduction OD&D sets. And I'm going to sweeten the deal. I'll throw in a reproduction of Chainmail with it as well. Basically through the assistance of tonight's guest, and I will heap praise upon him appropriately at the appropriate time. But I was able to put together a limited run of these. Now, here's how you qualify to win. We have a Patreon and we have a membership plan here on YouTube. The membership thing is down there and the Patreon is going across right there. Back the show, become a patron or a YouTube member no later than October 31st at any tier. Remain a member until we have the drawing at the end of December. Well, we're doing it on Christmas night, but stay through to the end of the month and you will be entered to win one of these 4 sets. We put every Patreon and every show member's name on the big wheel. We spin it 4 times and you have a chance to win. Now, a couple of caveats. One, being a Patreon and a member doesn't entitle you to 2 slots on the wheel. And 2, for our overseas viewers, yes, unfortunately, you will have to pay shipment. But folks, thanks to Matthew's incredible skill at designing these and my printer and ability to work a stapler, these are going to be worth it. How many people will you be able to look in the eye and say, yes, I have an OD&D set? For the low cost of, I think, overseas shipping these days is $60 or $75. So don't feel like you cannot be pushed out of it just because you're overseas. Sluis, I am selling classical Dungeons and Dragons. I am selling myself here. So anyway. Well, I'm not selling these, Baron Karza, so believe me, I can't. That would be copyright infringement. I'm giving away a hobby project. Anyway, so that's enough selling. I think Sluis has got it right. Shellback, you'd have it, ship it to your folks in Ohio. Good call. And then, they can do whatever. That's enough silliness from me. Let's get on to better and more awesome silliness. So without further ado, I want to welcome tonight's guest. He's been on a couple of times, once so I could heap praise on him for providing the boxes for this set, but other times to talk about his projects and his cool things. So without further ado, let us go ahead and bring in Matthew TAPP, and then I'll let him introduce our other guest tonight. Matthew, good evening to you,
Howdy,
sir.
howdy. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I can't complain. I cannot complain. Have had
The
a
box set looks nice, so
thank you very much. The box set looks nice because you made it. Like I said, I can work a stapler and a couple of printers, so that's
well,
that's
I know how much work goes into printing that out. So y'all make sure to be excited about it because those things are cool. But
I've got about an inch thick stack of misprinted stuff too. That's a lot of fun. It's like
I've got you beat.
How should I rank this? Oh no, I can believe it. I can believe it. So you just came back from Arnecon. Did you
Arnecon?
not?
Yeah, it was quite fun. We had a good time up there, and I was able to run some Barrows and Borderlands, and then also play in Banania, the 4th Brownstein, and got to play with Paul Stormberg in his running of Blackmore, which was quite fun. And yeah, I was able to show off some of the cool stuff that I'm about to show y'all here in a minute as well. Tired from the trip though.
Yeah. Cons are one of those things that it's like you can't wait to get to. You have an absolute blast, but when you get back home, it's like I need a vacation from my vacation.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt, but I can't do that yet because we've got a lot of printing to do. So I I was going to talk about the new Portal to Adventure and all the fun, cool stuff with B&B going on, but we probably should bring on the other guys too.
Absolutely, these guys are gonna eat me out of craft services table back there. So let's see. Let's go ahead and bring Dave B on, and I'll let you introduce him. Dave, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks. It's nice to be here.
Dave here's really cool. That's his introduction. No, he's one of the
awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite.
All that's needed.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
audio's having some issues though, so I'm gonna have to mute
in between. Yeah.
Well, my computer fan is going crazy here.
Someone get that man a shield and 120 millimeter fan, please.
Right.
No, I got a box of them. Send me your address. I'll send you as many as you want to install.
Dave here is one of the 2 parts of Emperor's Choice Games and Miniatures. So the Arduin guys. That's what I always introduce them as. But yeah, and Dave, I'll let you say more introduction for yourself there if you want. But
I've been with Arduin, the game, since playing it since the early 80s, mid 80s, and we purchased the rights in the 90s, the late 90s, and we produce miniatures, we produce books, we produce card sets, and
metal miniatures too, right?
Yep, metal miniatures, pewter, lead-free at this time, and we hooked up with Matthew and Borders and Barrows, and I think this is a great relationship. Plus, we also have the Dungeons of Tonisberg in this whole little package. So it's going to be, I think, the winners in this package is anybody who gets it.
Excellent.
I definitely feel that because we're really putting it to a price point where you get like everything.
Very cool.
Yeah, it winds up being like 52% off any market value stuff that we would normally sell everything at, but it winds up being I think the way that Griff put it, Griffith Morgan, he said it's a good OSR classic style gaming starter pack. So
right on. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is when you've got so many cool things. It's like, you kind of run around. I don't want to talk about this.
Sitting on the edge of the seat.
Exactly. So I think we could probably do well to bring in the next guest tonight. And George D, come on down.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us tonight. So
not at all. Matthew said, yay, I want to come back on the show in October. And I was like, absolutely. He's like, can I bring friends? And I said, absolutely. So, I wasn't going to say no. So welcome Welcome to you, George. You are VP of EMCHA, I see.
Yes. My name is George DeRosa. I'm Vice President of Emperor's Choice Games and Miniatures Corporation. I work hand in hand with my partner, if this is the right way, Dave Bucata. We've been incorporated since 1998, so 27 years. Emperor's Choice Games and Miniatures Corporation. We do full lead-free pewter miniatures, and we also have the Arduin role-play game, one of the primal games from the gaming industry.
Right. Yeah, that is that is one. I have over here. Are these my? Those are my some of my OD&D cores, but I promise you, Matthew's seen them. I do have Arduin somewhere over here on the shelf. Really, all I ask of Arduin, modern Arduin, is did you guys increase the typeface? Please say you did.
Yes.
Yes, we did. Actually, the book Matt was just showing, we created a hardcover.
Okay.
It's all three, and in here you have a 12 font typeface.
Oh, thank goodness.
But if you really want, we could put something out there with the 6.
Yeah.
But when I was in college, I had a friend of mine who showed me his Arduin books, and it's heavily into AD&D at the time, and I remember leafing through those things, and then before my eyes started to harden and turn into old man eyes, I was like, damn, that's a small print face.
On the thing that we're going to talk about in just a minute, we also increased the size of the typeface on the page as well. So we kind of pulled it, because you've seen the original books. The margins on them are like that, so they didn't need to be. But
I'm not exactly sure what Dave Hargrave had going on, or if he just
that's too much material to put in the books. That was
my thought was, because in the 1980s, I wanted a printer for my Commodore 64, and $200-300. And finally, we found one at Kmart. It was advertised in their thing, Commodore 64, VIC-20 compatible printer. And we called up and we're like, hold this for us, because it was only like $59. And we drove out and we got it. And it was a little Seiko receipt printer, so you could use your C64 as a cash register. And my thinking with the Hargrave books was, is that what he had to do his printing on initially?
Well, Dave, you told me at one point. Yeah, exactly. Dave was telling me how eventually he got to the point where he was Xeroxing them, wasn't he?
Yeah, a lot of them were Xerox that came out. I've got some documentation showing that somewhere in the piles of everything. But I can assure you that Hargrave could write in 6-point font. That map behind George, the original, I had to decipher it, and the writing was so small I couldn't even find pens that would print that small. I had to special order art pens that were extra small.
Yeah, the map, just the Arduin map, which is behind Dave there on the screen, over 1,300 names were on that map, between dungeons, rivers, mountains, cities, towns, everything you can imagine. It's hard to, that map, over 1,300 names. I don't know how the guy came up with a plethora of names and detail to put in the map. So quite extensive, though. Unreal.
Cool names too.
Absolutely. I mean, I know Gary came up with most of his fun names when he wasn't making fun of himself, his family, or his employees out of pop lollies and belly bones. But that's that is quite the achievement there. All right, so we have the people in the room who know, except of course for Dave Hargrave, obviously. So you guys have got to spell us here for the audience's sake. % liar. % liar. I mean, did he just think it was funny and roll with it, or was that his actual thought? Like, Clearly, Gary means that there's a chance the monster is lying to you. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mocking it or anything. In fact, when I told Matthew that I wanted to reproduce these OD&D sets, I was looking through the PDF and I was like, how do we change the Wizards of the Coast correction of %lair back to %liar?
That's how it should have been the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? It's funny. It could have been a combination of both. I think maybe he saw something. I think he did that because, of course, Gary and Dave did sue each other back in the day over different IP things, including prismatic spells and prismatic walls. So it could have been where certain things to differentiate, but I think it is kind of funny. So I believe it was half and half. I think he may have done it a little bit tongue in cheek because I think he realized what he was doing with that. But
he could have been picking on. He could have been picking on the typo.
Yeah, he probably picked up the typo and then said, "Well, this is probably not it, but I'm going to run with it because it's a talking point." It certainly was.
I've heard from some people that actually did run with it straight off from the beginning. So they would. Like to this day, they thought it was %liar.
Yeah.
And didn't know that it was not meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Now, George, you, me, and Dave, we probably know of what I speak. This might be a little crusty for you, Matthew, but
it's for the old folks. Okay.
Steve Jackson Games used to put out a magazine back in the day. It was the Space Gamer, the Fantasy Gamer, and they ran a humor column in it called Murphy's Rules, where they would skewer these typos, ridiculous, like rules that make sense for, okay, I'm moving this unit from here to there. But then if you look at it in the macro, you're like, wait a minute, that means it took 5,000 hours to move from there to there, But one of the earliest ones was the %liar jape at TSR for that. So justly deserved or not, I love the fact that Dave Hargrave ran with that in Arduino. I think that's a lot of fun. So I've said it here, and we babbled about it, like the old school style, but you guys haven't. I'm going to add this now. I'm going to bring this up here. Here is the Portal to Adventure Kickstarter. Tell us a little bit about this. You guys have blown past that. Wow, look at that. You're up 30K so far. And folks, I will share that URL for those of you who might be interested in it. Hopefully that is not too much. Yeah, you guys should be able to just copy and paste that link there. So tell us about the Kickstarter.
Yeah. So it's George, if you're all right, if I dig, I've been practicing in the background, in the green room. I was getting ready,
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's 3 games by 3 publishers. So it's a classic style role-playing game starter kit. Basically, you've got Arduino, which was 1977 heavy metal version of D&D. It expanded the 3 little booklets out to, an extra 300 pages of content, and all the way from guilds, spells that go up to 20th, sometimes 30th level. You've got Freints, which are like, they're sort of the precursor to the Thri-Kreen in D&D. And then you've got all kinds of these weird monsters, lasers, space aliens, all kinds of cool stuff. So you've got Arduino, and then you've got the Lost Dungeons of Tonisborg, which is not only 10 levels of one of the earliest mega dungeons that Griff Morgan, when he was doing the Secrets of Blackmoor documentary, they kind of uncovered these notes and consolidated it. But then the other half of the book is all rulings, ways that they were playing the game before D&D was released. So stuff like from Blackmoor or from first draft style play. He calls it 0 edition dungeoneering. And then you've got Barrows and Borderlands, which is my weird science, old school style role-playing game, which is set in a dark radioactive wasteland of magic, black powder, and dragons. So it's all 3 of those games together to make up about 800 plus pages. You get 2 new adventures, Dracula in Space and the Rancid Maw. You get item and monster cards, new character sheets. You get character sheets for Arduin, B&B, and a combined character sheet. And that brings me to the last point, which is there's an entire compatibility guide of how to actually mix and mash these games together and play one big old school classic game. So I kind of see it as like if Hargrave was let loose a little bit, and it was kind of neat how we, Barrows and Borderlands wound up fitting so nicely with the Arduin stuff. Because the way Arduin was written out, it was almost a supplement for OD&D.
Mhm.
And since Barrows and Borderlands is based in OD&D, it just seems like a clean fit. But yeah, that's pretty much what the Kickstarter is. It's a massive content, and all for the low 52% off market value. So we're really just trying to get people into that style of gaming. Multiple universes, how to transfer between universes. Yeah, you see the huge list there.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm just blown away by this. This is this is a ton of stuff. And I mean, you talk about 52% off. I mean, basically, if you guys draw a line down the middle of this drawing, just pick whichever side, that's free. So yeah, that's pretty damn amazing. So but I'm sorry, please continue though.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, not to mention too, I mean, I know a lot of Kickstarters, there's that one of the hesitations for us was we were just going to make it and make a certain amount of them and sell it, and we were like, well, we want to know how many people want, because we can go ahead and start printing this thing today. And so that's really the point of doing it through a Kickstarter, was to find out how many. But I mean, you guys saw me hold it up earlier. We've already got a completed one right here. So, and this has the new cover art for Barrows and Borderlands on it,
Okay.
courtesy of Emperor's Choice. And this art was made when I was 1 year old.
Wow.
So, and that's got all new covers on the inside as well, to sort of mimic that Arduin style paper. And then on the Arduin side, we've revamped the old cover, mainly so we don't get folks online that try and pass it as like an original copy of Arduin,
Right.
of course.
Right.
And we've got it in that wood grain set, so it'd look really nicely if you also win the Dungeon Delver OD&D book.
There you go. Just walking and people are blown away because they're like, oh, original D&D, original Arduin.
We have 4 booklets to come in it, and the extra booklet is not counted in the page count there, but it is both covers of Arduin 1, AG1, from the Errol Otis cover and the Greg Espinoza cover, and then the 2 others, Welcome to Skull Tower and Runes of Doom. And we did a lot of extra research. I mean, you know how I kind of go when it comes to paper and weird stuff like that.
Yes, I do. I do.
We nailed it down to the exact paper that they would have used, the exact paper weight. And then we said, okay, well, how do we do exactly that, but make it last longer so people don't have their books disintegrating after, 50 years. So we upgraded the inner paper, and we upgraded the staple to a quite massive one, just to make sure this thing ain't falling apart. And
yeah, now that is one thing, and I mean this complimentarily. I'm glad I'm not as obsessed with Arduin as I am D&D, because if I was trying to reproduce an Arduin set, stapling those books would make me weep. Those things are thick.
Yeah,
they're chunky books.
They're 100 pages, which makes it 25 sheets of paper to staple through, which normally most people that are doing booklets, they say don't do more than 60. So, but we made it work. And then, I mean, there's even more stuff, like the art prints of the original Howling Tower module, wilderness stuff. And then we've got some awesome full arts, 8.5 by 11s. And they're on really nice paper too. I don't know what paper you used for that, George, but
What
Yeah.
a lovely set of stuff here. I'll
And
push
that
Matt
map.
back in the corner here.
And that map that was behind George's head.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the bundle, when you look at everything that's involved here, it's all made with a passion, all basically done from scratch and built up. We decided we want to give the most, kind of like Matt said, it's a 52% discount. And what's funny about this, the little funny story behind everything, this was kind of a mistake completely. Actually, we met Matt a couple months ago in July, and we developed a relationship, and we found like what he was doing with Barrows and Borderlands, and a lot of people might not realize this, is a very parallel design and philosophy to Arduin. Very, very close, very parallel. It has a lot of the same elements, a lot of the things that Arduin had, Matt had in Barrows and Borderlands. So we started talking to him. We met through mutual friends, through Griff Morgan and from Mark, who's local here in Buffalo where we are. And we developed a relationship, and it fit like a glove because of Matt's, how he does his game, his mentality on doing things, and it fit Arduin unbelievable. When we sent him all the materials so he could take a look at what he had, because he never saw Arduin, which was stunning, he said, my God, I'm surprised you guys didn't sue me, because everything I did was so much like Arduin. You would have thought I took everything from the Arduin books and put it in my game. But we really felt very strong with the relationship. And we also had a relationship already with Griff Morgan, with Secrets of Blackmore. And so it just felt good that, hey, this is a good relationship. But how this originated was, we knew Matt had a bunch of boxes, and he had all these beautiful boxes that he was using for B&B. And so Dave asked me, hey, can we get some of those boxes? Maybe we can use them, for the Arduin, for the trilogy and the book sets. Well, I went to Matt, and Dave, unbeknownst to me, I thought Dave was asking, well, let's see if we could do the trilogies again, and redo the books. And I went to Matt, we started talking, Matt and I started talking, all of a sudden we went down the rabbit hole, like, how could we do this? What's the paper? What's the state? How can we do this? What are the things we need to restructure, clean up the wording? And then I went back to Dave after a couple of days, say, hey, we're good to go. We can reprint them. We can do this. He looked at me and said, what the heck are you talking about? I just want to have boxes. I didn't say to reprint it. Yeah, he was like, what do you mean we're reprinting the original 3? What are you talking about? That's not in our game plan. It's not part of the business plan. I'm like, no, we're all set to go. So
I had already printed out a set.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Yeah, I had Matt print out a set to send to us, like, oh, we got a sample already. We can take a look at this. So I talked to Dave more, and then Dave was the one who took it a step further and said, you know what? Why don't we talk to Griff? Doesn't he have the Lost Dungeons of Tonnesborg? And he said, what if we do a combo and we have Matt do his B&B and we do a 3-publisher, get together? And I'm like, oh, great, we'll do it. And then the step after that, we talked to everybody. Everybody was on board. And he's like, why don't we do a Kickstarter? Because then we know the pre-orders and we can get it together. We put this together within a month. We were already have everything, have the things ordered that we needed, the supplies, and we started going. We've got Matt working, printing and creating items. And while he's doing that on our back end, we got Griff to get the books printed for the Lost Dungeons of Tonnesborg. And Dave and I, we're going to take this to the next level. So the box that you see, we spent probably 2 days with our art director, Roland Brown, and we designed this beautiful box that is a work of art in itself. Just so you know, Dungeon Delver, that you look at it, Dave, if you want to show the box.
Yeah, let me blow this up here, but you keep talking, George. We'll still be able to hear you.
Okay. Yeah. You see the box there? You have all 3 companies in the corner. That's custom artwork that we have, Portal to Adventure. Even the sides, we put some of our custom artwork. And then in the back, you have the three companies. You have Emperor's Choice, Barrows and Borderlands, and then the Lord of Things for the Lost Dungeons at Taunisburg. So you have a list of all the contents of the bundle in there, some custom artwork on the bottom, but you can see that's a Howl Fiend from Arduin. So we even put some black and white. And in the inside, when you open it up, of course, with the Arduin name there, you have another contents that gets you a summary of what's in the box. And in addition, you have custom artwork that if you look at it, it's the same three adventurers from the cover that are in the inside of the skull tower there. And of course, one of Dave Hargrave's most famous quotes, "Take a troll to lunch."
Take a troll to lunch.
Well,
Yep.
And then when we were going through it too, we were like, okay, well, I had told him that I mix games a lot. And I remember last time I was on Delver, I was talking about like the game of games and how I mix systems together and the Jenga blocks and all that. So I told them, I said, we should have a compatibility guide for this thing so that, people don't assume that it's three different games. You really can play it all at the same table. So in the Radioactive Boogaloo, that adds another 88 pages to Barrows and Borderlands. That's also in there. And y'all can digitally, y'all can go download this today and go ahead and read how the compatibility will work in the bundle when it comes out at barrowsandborderlands.com. But this is just the list of like the races and classes that are in there, how to make a character. And then for referees, we have a whole section on, how to use these in your campaign, how to run campaigns that are a bit more open, sandboxing, like the, I like to think of it, and maybe it's because of my generation, of almost like a MMO, but tabletop, which I guess tabletop would have inspired, but you know what I mean? And we've been testing it out, and it's really fun. We were just at Arnecon, and I pulled out the Arduin Grimoire 1 and went and used the crits and crit hits and fumbles table. And some guy, they were fighting vampires and Dracula in space, which is one of the adventures in the Kickstarter. Of course. And while they were in there, they get into a fight, and one of the guys grabs a stake and he goes to go hit the vampire, and nat 20. So I have him roll on the Arduin crit table. I'm like, hang on, let me go grab the book. Immediate stake through the heart, instant kill. Vampire explodes, and everybody's cheering at the table. It just makes for a lot of fun play. Yeah, it's the awesome cover that Castle Grief did for Dracula in Space.
Yes, Dracula in Space. Although I question Dracula in Space, because wouldn't he be receiving sunlight from everywhere?
There's some reasonings for that. You'll see in the module, but
good. You better have a good answer.
But yeah, I mean the critical hit tables from Arduin are huge. It's like entire head pulped and splattered over a wide area. Irrevocable death ensues. Throat cut, die in 1 to 3 melee turns. It's just wild stuff.
And Matt, this is something else you're too young for, but I know you've almost certainly heard this crit table in Arduin got assigned to D&D by Pat Pulling and Bad. Well, this is in Dungeons and Dragons. This is what happens in D&D. Look at all this horrible stuff. I'm like, the game specifically avoids crits because Gary said he didn't want to slow the game down.
Victor Raymond, who I met at the convention, I was talking to him about Arduin, and he goes, "Ooh, Arduin, that's the dark, scary one that we're not supposed to play," and laughed a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think, was it Daddy Rolled a 1 called it Heavy Metal Dungeons and Dragons. So
yeah, it's the heavy metal version of D&D, kind of the punk rock. But everything we did in this Dungeon Delver, just so you know, with this bundle, I want people to understand, like what Matt's showing is the Portal to Adventure combined character sheet. That's a beautiful parchment printed. All the scroll work is from original Arduin character sheets. We really spared no expense, and the books, just faithful reproduction. Even Matt's B&B box set, what you're getting in the bundle is a limited edition. They're all parchment. They're all mimic exactly the Arduin books. And even the Arduin trilogy set is actually 5 books, because not only do we give you the original Earl Otis cover with all his artwork, we give you the Greg Espinozo version. So you get 2 of the volume 1, and you can see both box sets there, and the Rancid Maw Dungeon dice, character sheets, and there's a character and item card. And the B&B box, you get the Dracula in space, and you get the Radiation Boogaloo printed. And you can see the box are meant side by side. They're perfect. The artwork that Matt shows on his B&B box, how perfect, where you have the original Arduin, old man wizard, and then you have the younger wizard. That piece of artwork there that we gave Matt to use on the box is 25 years old. Laura Darkstorm Church did that for us in the year 2000. It's been in the archives, the Emperor's Choice archives, for 25 years, and it came out now in the perfect point to be used. And in addition, for Matt, the books in his B&B and even some of the interior art is Emperor's Choice Michio Ukamura artwork for the covers and in the interior.
That also has a funny story, because I kept looking at them because, okay, so all of the Arduin books, when we went through, we made sure that they were all as high quality as possible. Dave went back and he found the originals for some of the art, some of the plates for them. And, we used those, and I every single page was gone through in my designing tools and made sure that it was as high quality as possible. And yes, we did increase the pages or increase the size on the page so that you can read Arduin a little bit better. But when I was doing that, there was all this extra art that I was sitting there, and I'm like, this art is so cool. It's so cool. I want to use it, but I know I can't. And I went to George Day. I was like, can I use this for the Kickstarter? And
yeah. So we gave Matt a bunch of artwork like that. That's Michio. Some of the covers, I know you have some other, but it was a natural fit. That's from Arduin. You could see the Deodant, the Centaur,
definitely.
the Amazon. Yeah, a lot of that classical artwork we gave to Matt, and it fit like a glove. And everything with this Dungeon Delver, like I said, even the staples. I don't know how many discussions I had with staples with Matt. We got him a heavy-duty stapler, a press. The staples are like steel. They're longer, so that
what I stapled. I used to staple every B&B book. Right,
I have that exact one. That is
the
one I've been doing the D&D sets with. A good old boss stitch. It's heavy enough to use as a melee weapon, and I love it to death.
Yeah, well, this is the one they sent me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So and this one has been crazy good. I'm able to fly through the booklets a lot better, and we also know that with 25 sheets of paper being stapled together, it kind of needed this to hold them together.
The Arduin books needed that being 100 pages. And we also made sure with the B&B and the Arduin that the interior is linen paper. So it's a quality paper. Like I said, we went all the way, even with the bundle box. And like Matt said, the combined character sheet, you get 5 of those in there. We give you a set of Swords and Dragons cards, which are 2 decks. More Michio Ukamura artwork in B&B. And then the 2 maps, the map behind me, Dungeon Delver, the continent map where Arduin is on, you get 2 of those, and they're parchment. And if you could see on the sides of these, there's flags for every single country, 76, that were developed by Jackie. He was Shadow and Son. Jackie is Shadow's son, and he was into vexillology, the study of flags, and he developed them for all the countries. So a lot of good work. And the map itself is from William Watt, who was a sculptor from Grenadier who worked with us for the last 20 plus years. Unfortunately, he passed away a year ago. He spent close to 12 years hand painting the continent map. So the maps you're getting in the bundles are a piece of art, and they're on parchment paper. Like I said, we spared no expense. and we gave the cost as best. It's legitimately 52% off. And I'm not trying to do a sales pitch. I'm just trying to give you the whole scope of the totality of what this means. I mean, you're getting $304 worth of retail for $145, and you're getting 2 box sets, the Lost Dungeons at Tonnesburg, a 12-level mega dungeon with its own rule system. And it goes back to, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, Dave. It goes back to what Matt says. We've embraced the game of games philosophy, and Matt came up with a compatibility guide where you have an old school tabletop role-playing bundle starter kit where you can mix and match what you want, play the system, add things, delete things. You can even use it with other old schools, Castles, Crusades, Swords and Wizardry, old school essentials. Mix and match what you want because the basis, the chassis is there. Even Matt's game, B&B, that's OE D&D, chainmail, OE. His game has that as a foundation. So you have the primal beginning with the awesomeness of Arduin on top of it with B&B, which I call Arduin Junior. I'm gonna call it now, Matt, Arduin Junior. And you have this awesomeness in this bundle.
And to add on to that, I had not read Arduin before I met George and Dave. And when they first called me, because a mutual friend of ours, call him Baron in here, that's his Discord. Y'all see him around playing games with us, but he connected us together. And whenever I first talked to George and Dave, and and they sent me over some material to read because form a relationship. I'm reading through Arduin. I look at my fiance and I go, "Oh my God, they think I stole everything." That's why they're. I said, "That's what they're doing." I mean, this stuff is like what's in my campaign, and then. No, it was definitely fun, but that was my first thought after I was reading through the Arduin books. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. So
and one thing I wanted to, because Dave showed it, we have a premier tier for the bundle. Basically, it's the exact same bundle. You get everything there. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you get all the PDFs too. There's a PDF tier for $30. All those PDFs come in the bundle, just so you know, Dungeon. You basically get the whole
with bookmarks,
all the tiers you get in that bundle. But the top one, Dave found this. I have one and he has one. I like to bang on it. It's an acrylic 5 to 8 millimeter UV resistant, has a magnetic top, and it fits. I don't know, Dave, if we have it in the bundle, if you could show it. We have
you can unmute Dave if you want. I mean, I think we're that's not awful.
One doesn't fit as nice because this is an early prototype, but
yeah,
it would basically go in there like that. And the thing is, we just upgraded this acrylic box 2 days ago, so we erroneously said 6 millimeter. It's 5 millimeter. But
5 to 8.
Wait, it's 5 millimeter? The hell with this. Get off my show. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry for wasting your time.
But we took
we don't do 5 millimeter acrylic boxes here. I have standards. Go ahead.
And we bumped them up to 8 millimeter on the sides.
Yeah. So don't worry, Dungeon.
Power of magnets.
Kind of like tank armor. We upgraded the side armor.
Right on.
There you go. And
so now it's going to be really beefy.
Yeah. So we've gotten so far 40 people, and there was actually a couple extra as add-ons. I think people will enjoy this because it's kind of like a museum piece. It's something really cool that you could put on a shelf, and you have this bundle of old school gaming right on a shelf that's just going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, it's cool too, is you could do this if you had other boxes with it.
There we go.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's one of the early tests of the.
Yeah.
We'll just put the lid on
and put the magnetic. Yep.
With the PDFs too. Don't worry, guys. There are bookmarks on the PDF. I did add bookmarks. So
yeah, Matt did a great job on that. Taking all the PDFs, put bookmarks. So we're being extensive with that, and it's not on there right now, but the character sheet is available from Matt's website, and we're going to use that as a PDF, the combined portal to
you
Adventure.
go ahead and download that and see. And honestly, if you got this and you want to take a look over it, you can go ahead and see how much crazy stuff that's been added for those that have played Barrows and Borderlands before. The Arduin guys will be familiar with some of this stuff, but my players were like, wait, what? What do I use that for? But I also explain, the new ability scores and everything, how to roll those for your character and in the Radioactive Boogaloo if you're doing it in conjunction with Barrows and Borderlands. But there are also Arduin character sheets that we revamped. So
if you want to,
if you're just playing Arduin, you've got the rollover Arduin character sheet. So it's the same as the old one, but we've made it so you can roll over the side.
Very nice.
But I mean, it's funny because it's just so much stuff. Like we didn't even show the.
It is very drink from the fire hose moment.
And this is vintage Arduin, because Hargrave was one of the first to do item and monster cards. So we even give you a couple right in the bundle.
That's nice.
And you know what it is, Dungeon Delver? When you get these box sets, even the B&B, there's extras that don't exist in the normal. So they truly limited edition. There's special box sets. They come with dice too, because what type of gamer can't have more dice? Each box set has its own dice. So,
but are they precision edge or rolled edge? That's the important question.
They're rolled edge so that people don't step and kill themselves on dice. So
fine.
Yeah. Don't worry, Dungeon Delver. I'll have fun and argue with them about that because I've stepped on too many D4s to want precision edge dice anymore.
Exactly.
And
like I said, it's even cool with like the Lost Dungeons at Tonnesburg. You get that 10 level mega dungeon from the Blackmore campaign, and in the back, the last 50 pages I think it is
it's
like
funny because it's also throughout the entire book too, where he gives you basically how to run games like they did back in the day. So
and a full game system.
We do have a question from Jas. He says, I showed up later. Any other cases playing like for Arduin, Bloody Arduin?
Yes. We're going to come out with a new version, an updated version of Arduin Bloody Arduin as an RPG tabletop role-playing game. In 2027, we're going to be doing a Kickstarter for Arduin Bloody Arduin. We've been working on it for about almost 4 years now, and we're kind of...
It'll be fully compatible with Barrows. It'll be fully compatible with old school Arduin.
Yeah, it's going to be an old school... Yeah, it's going to be an old...
game.
Yeah, it'll still be compatible with everything, but it's going to be updated. It's going to be a new Arduin. Just to give a little background about it, Arduin Bloody Arduin, Dave Hargrave, unfortunately, he passed away in '88. He was going to develop his last system, which he called Arduin Bloody Arduin. They had created Arduin 2, the complete Arduin, but he was going to go do one more thing, and he was going to go back to the roots of his game, the D20 version of Arduin, the Grimoires. So we've taken that and we've expanded upon it, went back to the original and said, we're going to pay an homage, give him his opus magnus, his game that he wanted to do to honor him. And the reason we're doing it for 2027, because we need more time to develop and play test, but 2027 is the 50th anniversary of Arduin, which the first grimoire was written February 1977. It was first published. So we felt it was a good way to honor everything.
That's neat you just said that, because Paul Stormberg, who I was just hanging out with also at Arnecon, was talking to him, and he has pinned down that when Dave Arneson showed Blackmore to Gary Gygax, it was February, I think he said 13th. So it was
yes,
Paul
has put me in a very friendly arm lock and taken me all the way down the hole to the point of okay, so Rob Kuntz talked about getting up one morning to he knows it was a February. He got up one morning to play because he wanted to play Dungeon, at Gary's house, and he said there was a light snow falling. So Paul went through the effort of digging out weather reports for Lake Geneva from 1973 to figure out when in February. He was like, it was a holiday weekend or some kind of, and so he narrowed it down with that. Paul has sniffed it out. And the guys here in the audience, the lovely folks in the streaming audience, love you guys to pieces. Please, if you haven't already, click subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications. They have heard. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just I still need to pick his brain about the what Arnecon was using before Chainmail came out, in because the fantasy supplement for Chainmail, I think, was that 72,
71.
So, well, Chainmail first edition came out 71, but second edition was the first one that had the fantasy supplement, right?
Okay.
This is why I got to pick Paul's brain, because Paul, I've got to just bother him a lot. The next time at a convention he's at, I'm just going to say, Paul, do you have 3 hours for me to bother you?
Yeah, and you'll get it. You'll get it. It may be broken up in little pieces. Let me tell you what, but you will absolutely get it. I was at EggCon, which let me tell you guys, go to EggCon. If you haven't been to EggCon, plan to go to EggCon. I went to I was waiting to interview Paul, which I've had Paul on the show a lot of times, but Paul and I getting face to face is so rare. So I get in, and Paul finally has some time, and as soon as I sit down, I get the camera set up. Here comes a TSR employee, and I love this story because I was there for this to happen. The guy that tracked Paul down because he had heard that Paul was going to be at EggCon had a double armload of photo slides and photo proofs. What he had were all the advertising proofs for TSR. When they would send stuff to Sears to put in the catalog, this guy had photographed it. You guys remember the Your Gateway to Adventure catalogs from the D&D box sets? He did all the photo shoots for that, and what he had was all that photo material. That's the one, Your Gateway to Adventure, and the brown covered one that followed it too. So Paul met this guy, and I'm just sitting back, like absorbing this, just totally blown away. And then he's like, okay, let's sit down and do this. And then his lovely wife comes over, and I'm like, I'm cool. I can't wait. So getting to talk, trust me, you will have ample opportunities to go down a rabbit hole with Paul.
I showed him the Arduin boxes when we were there too. He thought they were cool, and we were having a chat about them. And I got Bill Hoyt his replica set of OD&D. I had heard that Bill Hoyt had lost his actual first set, and I was like, oh no. So we did that, and then I know we're talking about a little bit about the trip real quick, but I also managed this one I'm very happy about. But I got McGarry to sign my dungeon board game.
That is lovely. And you have the Tracy Lesh cover dungeon board game, which is nice.
Well, we play that before every open table game. I have 3 of the boards. We set 3 of them out there, and while we're waiting on everyone else to show up, they can any loot that they win, if they win the board game, they can give it to their character in game.
Excellent. Tune in the next time I have Tracy on the show. I recommend that to everyone. My guests, my audience, of course, my audience. My guests can become a part of the audience at that point. Tracy talks a lot about his work on the art for Dungeon, and that was one of the first media appearances of a TSR item because of Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the story. You'll have to tune in. And he kind of when he did the show merch, that's linked by the way below, guys, if you want to check that out, support the show, grab some merch. When he did the show merch, he was like, I'm gonna kind of revisit the Dungeon board game artwork I did for the merch, and I saw it and was blown away. It's so awesome. But I was raised a poor orc child said, I hope someone videos this. Well, that, it's being saved on YouTube. You can come back and watch the stream again, pause it, listen to your favorite parts, fast forward, whatever.
Oh, one other thing, if I could just interject about the bundle and the Kickstarter, Dungeon Delver, I want you to know we've blown by all 3 stretch goals, and we will have a post. I'll let everybody know. We are going to announce tonight another stretch goal that's going to be coming. But what I want you to know is our foundation was as a miniatures company. We do lead-free pewter miniatures, and we have a whole line of miniatures. Well, the 3 stretch goals right now, anybody who pledges and goes for the box set or the bundle, of course, you're going to get 4 miniatures from us. You're going to get 2 of the Sluggoths, which are from Arduin, a Wendigo, which is like a wind demon, and you're going to get a Doomguard, which is basically an 8-foot tall plate mail, that construct that's animated with 2 two-handed swords.
Not the miniature is going to be 8 foot tall.
Yeah. So you're going to, the miniature is a small miniature, but what I'm saying is the creature itself. So you're going to get 4 miniatures already to come with the bundle because we've blown by the stretch goals. And we're planning another one that we're going to announce later tonight. So like I said, I can't stress the value you're getting here. If you're into old school, you're looking for a gold mine of ideas, a gold mine of really cool old schoolness, you got a bundle. You got Arduin, B&B, Lost Dungeons at Tonnesburg, and then extras and extras. And that everything we showed you, that box, everything that you see on what I call the platter there on the Kickstarter will fit in the bundle. So all that'll fit nice and neat right in the bundle and go into, if you get the acrylic case, the bulletproof case, it's not really bulletproof, but the nice display case, it'll all fit in there. So again, we pride ourselves on giving the most for the least, and it truly is a deal. And again, limited edition, we're not going to be doing this very long.
No, I won't.
Do this. That's
I won't.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but Matt's already sick of it, Dungeon Delver. He already knows the work he's done, how much work. I'm like, Matt, you know how much work we have in the next month to do? And it's like, he's like, I'm done with this. I'm like, yes, we're not going to be doing this.
I think after the Kickstarter's over, if I see another sheet of parchment paper, I'm going to flip out. So,
well, I know what not to get you as a wedding gift then.
Right. A ream of parchment paper.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I have one that I can send you if you want it, but actually it's parchment cardstock. Anyway, perfect, so it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what that means at this point. But anyway, so yeah, you guys are up to 160 nice on the backers with 15 days to go. I don't know why StreamYard is not I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to add it back. There we go. So $30,239 of $5,000, 169 backers, guys. 15 days to go, 2 weeks. And you get all of this stuff, this cool stuff for 52% off. That's 800 plus pages, 35 character classes, 65 races, 130 mutations, 300 monsters, 250 spells. The list just goes on and on. I would probably eat up the next hour just reading that.
I also note that just as for people that want to play, we'll be playing that too once it's out on my Barrows and Borderlands server. So if anybody wants to come join that, it's I'll put a link down in the comments, but we've got, I think we're up to 150 people on the server now, and about 100 of them are active and playing around and running games. So if anybody wants to come around and play any of our favorite systems, we don't just play Barrows and Borderlands or just Arduin. It's the game of games. We're in there playing anything. And also we need more referees. Come join us.
Right on. Right on. But I was gonna, because you guys mentioned the minis, I was gonna ask this. Now As a stretch goal, is that a blind draw, or do you have specific minis that you are including?
We already have if on the Kickstarter there, Dungeon Della, if you go to the left and click on stretch goals, it'll take you right to the minute. To the left, right under the campaign. Yeah, if you go down to stretch goals, click
stretch
on that.
goals. There we go.
Yep,
down to stretch marks. Okay.
Yep. The first one, when we hit 10,000, you get 2 Sluggets. They're kind of like, again, demons, minor demons in Arduin that spit acid, and they do some other fun stuff.
Disgusting.
You get both of those miniatures. Anybody who backs it. Then the second one is called a Windigo, which we broke at 15,000, which again is like a demon, like a wind elemental demon combination. And then the third one at 20,000 we busted is the Doom Guard, which is kind of like a magical golem with 2 two-handed swords. It also has a gem that comes, the miniature itself has a little gem that goes right on the helmet right there.
Right on.
And then and so those are the specific miniatures. We do have add-ons because we have a line of 86 miniatures. You know, if people are looking, we have some cool miniatures like air sharks, which are one of the staple creatures in Arduin, flying sharks, which have been in Arduin for 40 years. So way before Sharknado, there was Arduin air sharks.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So those are the miniatures you get right now. And like I said, we're going to announce another stretch goal tonight after the show. So just to let you know, we have another stretch goal coming.
I don't get the scoop. Well, I guess that's okay.
Well, you know what? No, you know
I've
what?
got it right here.
You know what? We'll give you the
right
scoop.
Here.
How's that? You're going to get the scoop.
All right. Okay. That's.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. We're going to post it tonight, but we're going to announce it on your show here for the next stretch goal.
A quick question. Poor Orc Child asked, can we add minis after campaign close in the pledge manager?
What we're going to do is you can add minis in right now within the campaign, but if you want more, we couldn't fit them all onto the Kickstarter. There's a link to www.emcho.com, empcho.com. Just let us know, or you can email us. We have all our information on the Kickstarter. It's support@empcho.com, or Dave, if you want to put it in the chat, contact us and we'll take care of you. If anybody wants to add miniatures, just let us know. We couldn't. Another funny story, just so you know, Dungeon Della, I've said this a couple times. I said I broke the Kickstarter when I was putting it together.
Right.
We legitimately, honest to God, this is a true story. I was putting everything on. We were going to list a lot more miniatures. We could only put like 6 of them on there. Kickstarter stopped me from putting any more. I got an error because I went over 35,000 characters on the Kickstarter page here, and I had to cut things out to get it under. And it's been a battle. Like when I put the stretch goal on tonight, I got to make some maneuvers, delete a few things so we can, put the stretch goal information in the core. So, but yeah, they can just contact us. You can add on any miniature you want through the Kickstarter. If you look at the add-ons, there's 6 miniatures, but then it has a link that takes you to our website. So the basic answer is yes, you can add them on. We don't have Pledge Manager built though on the back end. So just contact us and we'll take care of you. Anything, if you're looking for anything extra, let us know and we'll take care of it.
Excellent. Excellent. So we'll slide this aside real quick. And Matthew, you ready to go? You ready to go?
Ready to go.
With the big reveal.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Go, as in link out. No.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one I've printed out. I've got the originals hidden back there to make sure I don't spill a drink on them. But so we've got hex maps that are going to be printable, and all of them not only connect to each other. It's random wilderness like the outdoor survival board was, but it also lines up with you could play outdoor survival on it. Which means you could play OD&D, Arduin, Barrows and Borderlands on them. And it's a total of 10 of those maps that we've designed. I hand drew them, and I went with the style that Arnecon used on his home map of outdoor survival that he used in his campaign of Blackmore to represent the wilderness. And, you know, we were like, oh, this is, I was making them and I was going to make them for my home game. And we were like, oh, you know, it'd be cool is if we really made them look really nice, and then had them printable, and that could be a pretty good stretch goal. So that's exactly what we did. But it's 10 maps that are all the hexes line up. So it's almost like having 10 new outdoor survival boards that you can use at home and you can draw on because they're printable, which is what people want to do anyway in their campaign.
Right.
And they're 8.5 by 11. So, you know, if you're the referee, you can run them behind the board, or you could put them out on the table or hand them to players and they can draw on it, take notes. And I intentionally left, like in Arnecon's map, he would sort of fill in the trees in the mountain area with lines to sort of make them look full. But I have them open so you can draw castles or whatever else might be out there in the forest or mountains or deserts or wherever else. But
right on. Well, that is that is excellent. Baron Karza out there in the chat is going crazy. I think you just you set the hook earlier. Now you've started to reel Baron Karza in. Handmade goodness by the TAPP. You've got a title there, Matthew. You're the TAPP.
The TAPP. Yeah. That was awesome, Matt. So what we're going to do, and again, we're going to post and we'll do an update to the Kickstarter this evening. And Dungeon Delver, what it is, like Matt said, it'll be 10 PDFs, 8.5 by 11, that Matt has put together that can be played with the Wilderness Survival Board. They can be mixed and matched the way you want. And these 10 PDFs will be available along with all the other PDFs. The stretch goal on this is going to be 35,000. So we hit 35,000, you're going to get all 10 PDFs on top of everything else of stretch goals.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy mode for you guys. If I may be so bold, looking here, I mean, you've gotten that Delver effect a little bit and gone up some since you started tonight. So you're welcome. But all kidding aside, yeah, I would dare say you guys are probably going to hit that. Hit that goal.
And we try to be fair with that. We want things that we don't want to put something so out of whack that, you know, it's just a carrot that you're never going to get. We don't believe in that. We want to be realistic, but we want to be fair. So we want to give people, like I said, the metal miniatures, you know, Dave and I are a little bit groaning because we're going to be here in Buffalo, you know, during the middle of the winter here, casting, know, getting miniatures ready for, but you know what? We signed up for it. We know it. We've done it for 27 years. No big deal. But we want to give to people. We want people to enjoy. We don't want to make games that we wouldn't use. There is nothing in this bundle, miniature-wise, any part of that game, anything, even the cards that we have for Swords and Dragons, which is a game within a game, the game of games that even Dave Hargrave was using. There's no part of this that we wouldn't use. So if we love it and we want to use it, we want to bring that to people too. We don't want to go cheap. We don't want to just cut corners. No, we want to give you the best we can. And like I said, there's been a lot of, I'm going to say it, blood, sweat, and tears that's been poured into it. A lot of hard work from everybody to make this happen. And again, I think it's a little bit historic in that I can't recall, and you can correct me, Dungeon Delver, but we've asked people, I don't recall another Kickstarter where you had 3 publishers and 3 games all together coming together to create something like this.
If I'm being completely honest, I can't think of one.
No,
you got me dead to rights. I cannot think of one that is as you say. So
yeah. So like I said, we're very, as you can tell, very proud of this.
And you should be. And you should be. This is awesome. Like I said, this is a big drink from the fire hose, but it is really, really awesome. I mean, there's enough to get lost. my antique old ass won't be able to probably to plow through all this before I'm dust. But honest guys, seriously, all joking aside, there is enough stuff in here to get completely lost in, just in terms of sheer quantity, over the top, gonzo stuff. This is it. This is I think this is the Matterhorn of it. So it's right there. I've linked the Kickstarter before. I'm going to do that again real quick. And folks were asking about minis earlier. If you scroll up through the live chat a little bit, if you're watching this like right on the heels of this, I apologize. That's a YouTube thing. Live chat doesn't refresh immediately, so give it a day or two before they decide to put it up there. But all the MCHO links to the miniature stuff is up there, but I want to put the link to the Kickstarter in the live chat also. And one thing I would do, this is not a conclusatory kind of thing, but before I forget, I would like to formally invite you guys, if you'd like to come to the GWOC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. That is, of course, the second week of April 2026, and it's just right over on Discord. We do VTT kind of thing just on Discord. It's pretty laid back. We have panels. If you're interested in it, get a hold of me and let me know, and I'll send you all the links. But
you need anyone to help run games?
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just volunteered, Matthew.
There we go.
There we go.
Folks,
Matt will be running stuff at GWOC right there.
Yeah.
So
Matt's going to be, I can already tell you, Matt's going to be running Arnecon Portal 2 Adventure, the combined game. Maybe Dracula in Space or the Rancid Maw, maybe 2 sessions, one of each.
Well,
exactly.
Let you guys let me know offline, and I will send you all the stuff you need. It's really you just gotta come to the.
If you need a team of referees, I'll put mine to work.
Join the Discord. Congratulations, you're registered for the con. Let me know you want to be a game master, and I flip one switch on your profile and your.
I don't have to fly to this one.
You don't have to fly to this one. You don't have to pay for a hotel room. Any beer or snacks is up to you. I don't know that you're legal to drink yet, Matthew. But
I'm legal. I'm just a few years legal.
In what country?
Yeah, right. So, we dude, when I was in Minneapolis, I'm used to South Carolina prices for things, and I was just like, scan card. I know my fiance is not listening to this, but she'll listen as soon as I say this. But of course, she wanted sushi the first night, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, yeah. I came here to sell games.
Yeah.
Right. So
what was that, Matt? All the money you made went right to food and drinks and everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's as myself and Rob Kunst will joke. You too can make tens of dollars in the exciting world of tabletop RPG creation.
Dungeon Delver, I'm sure you've heard this one. We say it all the time. If you want to make a small fortune in the gaming industry, start with a large fortune.
Start with a large fortune. If you want to make $2 million in the RPG industry, invest $4 million in the RPG.
So I was there, and Oak Spalding was there, and I walked up to buy his book sets because 7 Voyages of Xylarthan, which is also fairly compatible with anything in the games. So you need even more stuff. But anyway, I go up to him and I'm like, oh man, I'm totally going to buy a set of his games. I own them all digitally. And I go, how much are these? Like $60. Okay. Hand him the money, get the set. And then he goes, oh, you do Barrows and Borderlands. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how much for a set of those? I was like, well, that's 60. And then we just traded. He gave me back my cash and we traded games with each other. It was
There you go. That's awesome, man. And that's the kind of community that I love out of TTRPGs, particularly like, look, I'm not a basher. I'm not bashing anything, but honestly, and I'll even preface it again, bearing the lead a little bit here. If you can make a buck and have a good time at someplace like Gen Con, go for it. But that's 70,000 people. That is like what, a third again the population of Indianapolis showing up for 4
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the size of a small city. That is twice as large as the city that I lived in as a child. I cannot fathom having the kind of connectivity you can get at something like Arnecon, EggCon,
Dave Con.
Dave Con, even Gary Con. Although that, for me, that's 3,000-4,000 people. That's pushing
starting
it.
to get bigger. Yeah,
That's starting to get a little bit like, I'm too peopled right now. I cannot people. But I love the sense of community that a good small, and I don't mean that in a gatekeeping way. I think you guys know what I mean. A good small con that can grow and get bigger, but you don't get carried out to sea by it. That's what I love.
And we had a good time running. So when I was going up there, I was talking to my fiance. I'm like, okay, well, help me get the game set up. I've got to show off what I think are the cool mechanics of my game and all this other stuff. And as soon as I got there, and just everybody was so nice and chill, everything was calm. I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to show many of that. We're just going to play a fun game. And so I whipped out the Dracula in Space book and ran them through that because I had the Portal to Adventure box to show off there. And no, it was so much fun. And the same people, you wind up playing in multiple games with them, so you kind of get friends while you're there, and you've got more time to talk to. Like Mr. Wesley was there, and he had plenty of time to talk to the 30 people in the game, and sit and give stories about his Brownstein and wargaming and all the stuff he did with ColecoVision, and that's just cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's good. When you talk about that, Dungeon Delver and Matt, when you talk about the small cons, that's where it's at. We believe too. We started going just last year we're in Buffalo, so we're in New York State here, and there wasn't really any con, so to speak, close enough or near our area. And Roger from Syracuse created Central New York RPG Con in June, and we went there and we loved it. And he had it at a nice hotel. They had about 200 people. They did great. They broke even for a first-year con, and it was great. It was that family atmosphere. Him and his staff, Jason, Andrew, everybody there, Joe, they were all great people there, and it was just run real well, and it was that family atmosphere. It was really cool, and we told him, we joked with him and said, you know what? We were the first vendor to get a spot, and he gave us 30 feet of beautiful, glorious booth space. You should see the booth pictures. I should have had them here. But it was awesome, and we told him we're in for life. Like, we're going to go back every year.
I'll be there this year, or the next.
We're going to bring you up, Matt, next year. You're going to come up. But you're right, Dungeon Delver, and again, yes, Gen Con, it's huge. That's great for the industry, but it's too much sometimes. I think the smaller cons give you that more personal feel. You could talk to people, the special guests we were able to talk to. We were able to hang out with people. It's like a family event more, that small family event. That's how we feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, I find that at the larger cons, again, I'm not out here, for a good chunk of my younger days, I worked in a record store, and even though I worked in a record store, I hated a music snob. I tried to be the anti-Jack Black in High Fidelity, right? I wouldn't scream at people for coming in and wanting to buy stuff that maybe was not my favorite thing. So I don't, if your thing is Gen Con, that's awesome. But again, you could meet someone at a con that size, and for them, it's the best moment ever because they got to meet this person that did this thing, you in the general sense. And then there's just, there's 30 more people that want to get into your booth and pick something up. And 5 minutes later, you're thinking about, can I sneak out of here and get a burger and a Coke for $82? You know, that's what you're thinking about. They're glowing, they're on cloud 9, and I kind of like it where you can have a bit of equanimity, so the relationships that you found with people at these things are not so parasocial, you know. You are quite welcome, Neurochi. I posted the link to the Delver Discord, which I can probably put that up there. If you're watching this at some point in the distant future, that link won't work because of how Discord works. So jump on that and hop over into the Discord if you want to. If you feel so compelled, we would love to have you. So come on in and get had. But anyway, but back to the topic at hand. So I'm with you. A small con, and I don't know. It's like, well, 8 of us showed up to play Chainmail for 72 hours, and then we went home. Kind of small, but give me a few hundred people. Give me 1,000, 1,500 people, and I think you've got an amazing convention right there. You start to get into multiple thousands, and that sense of anonymity grows. And by the time you're talking about the population of most European capitals showing up to be a pretend elf on graph paper for 4 days, the disconnect is total. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm babbling.
No. It makes total sense. Like I said, there's more of a personal, a family. This is the best way I could say it, a family atmosphere when you have the smaller. Now, granted, sure, especially for vendors, you'd love the bigger, huge crowds, the money-making thing. But I think it comes with a con. There's a pro and con to that because, like you mentioned, okay, I'm going to make money, but when I take a break or we got to go to eat, we're going to spend $150 to get some hot dogs and a Coke and some, so it's kind of a balance where sometimes too with the smaller crowds, like I said, at Central New York RPG Con, all the vendors there, including us, we made really good money because people spent. And I view it because I know we've had a couple people talk to us about North Texas RPG Con that's in June, about the same time in Texas. And people go and they spend money. And again, it's a friendly family atmosphere and you just enjoy it. And we could take breaks. We could, substitute each other. Hey, I got to run. Can you, hold down the fort for a few minutes? And you didn't feel like you were going to be, the zombie horde wasn't coming at you, during the time, like, oh my God, how am I going to, deal with everything? So no, we're on board with that. And I'm not saying we've gone to Gary Con, which was nice. We have done cons like that. Arnecon, there, that's really cool. We got to get to that someday. And I know Matt just went. Sure. But we do like the atmosphere. That's why we told Roger for Central New York Con, we're going to go for life because it's close. It's perfect. 200 plus people. We love it. We can go, we can enjoy, and we can have fun. It's not like you're chained to the booth, for 12 hours a day, again, just dealing with, oh my God, person after person and, all that. So yes, you're not babbling. I'm going.
No, that's okay. But one thing I'm going to tell you, if you go to EggCon, here's a hack for you. Gino's East, order a kid's pizza off the menu. It's a 10-inch pie. That's 2 meals, $7.99.
Okay.
I mean, it's 1 or 2 toppings. You can't beat it.
That's awesome.
But oh my gosh, let's see. Who is it? Bob Jester says he's tried to listen but missed so much. Can we start? Okay, all right, guys, please welcome Matthew Tapp. Bob wanting me to start over. We'll start over.
Long story short, we made a fun game.
Yeah, you made a fun game. Go to Kickstarter and support it.
Yeah.
Small cons are good. I think we just covered it. Matt should talk about all the sanctioned portals from other game worlds to the B&B universe.
Oh, okay, that's a cool one. That is a cool one.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
So on Barrows, my website, barrowsandborderlands.com, you can go to it's at the top bar. It's Portal Stones, and I've got portals that lead to different worlds, and that's just my notes from my campaign. You know, those are where basically when we play our game and we want to use a different system, and you know, it's going to be wildly different. We will use a portal and go to that universe, and we'll just say, okay, the physics are different over here. You know, with 100+ players and each of them having like 6 to 15 characters, there's a lot of opportunities for that to happen. But some of those worlds are like the Hyperborea setting from Jeffrey Talanian. I really like that. And then
Jeff's awesome.
Jeff, he's a really great guy. He also was one of him and Griff are some of the first to like share my game around whenever I first started out, which was really cool. But you know, so we've got that one, but I reached out to some of the creators and I was like, hey, you know, like, cause I wanted to make sure it's like, hey, can I link to your website on my site? Like, cause I have the portal and then I say, go buy the game from them. Check it out. And then, but we talked to some, like, the creator of Carcosa, Jeffrey McKinney. And I was like, hey, I've got this little thing on the site and all this other stuff. And, you know, I've got this portal. Is that cool with you? And then he was like, yeah, sure. And then I convinced him to come join the Discord. And I was like, well, now we've got all these little portals everywhere. And Castle Grief's Cal Aerith system. We actually talked about, there are some of those creators that we were like, oh, we should make this like a canonical thing. Like, I'll put a cliff note in my book, you put a cliff note in yours or something. And we've got, it's sort of building out the whole Game of Games thing. And other referees that are in the server, like if they just want to run a different system, but you know, some people want to take their characters with them, that's what they'll do. They'll say, hey, a portal's opened up, only elves and humans allowed, or whatever else they want to say. And when you go there, you'll be using this rule system. Fox of RPG, we just made a video, or we recorded it last night. It'll come out sometime this weekend, but it goes over like how to navigate the Discord group and how that system works and all that. So it'll be pretty cool. But yeah, there are some canonical portals out there, at least between my home world and those creators' home worlds. That only matters as far as it's kind of neat, because as soon as somebody buys a game, I like to think that it's not even that world anymore. It's whoever bought its world, because they're going to change everything they want, which is half the fun. But
that's excellent. That I love that. You know, there was a great run of modules for Paranoia by West End Games, and the WEG guys did a Twilight 2000 crossover. They did what was it? Through the Mirror Shades for Cyberpunk. And then they did a third one, which today would not only not be permitted, I think you would actually get a nuclear weapon mailed to you. And that was, they did, it was like Mutant Dwarf Bikers from Dimension Z. And it was a Warhammer 40K crossover.
That's funny.
Well, Paranoia and Warhammer 40K.
We have, okay, so the way I just was doing it because I wanted to play a bunch of games, and we just had like a quick in-game explanation of why this was happening. Whatever we needed to do to make the play happen. But when I was going back through and doing some research, especially whenever I was fixing these books up, I saw that that's exactly what Hargrave was doing at his table. He had players making their own continents or sometimes their own worlds or whatever, and then you would walk away from one table with your character, go to another referee with the same character, plop it down. And I'm sure a lot of the old heads will remember playing like that. But
I'm sorry, some of the whats?
The old fuddy-duddy. No, I'm just kidding. No. But for gamers like my age, I mean, that's kind of unheard of a lot with especially like the 5e players and stuff, which I played 5e for years, but never thought of doing something like that until later on in our group's gaming. And but you look at Hargrave's notes and he talks about, well, so-and-so's running a referee table. He actually, one segment he talks about giving somebody an atom splitting sword
Yeah.
on accident. Like he was like, oh, I shouldn't have given him this powerful item. And then he talks about how he would take it to other people's tables and use it at their tables. And so that instead of them just saying, oh, it doesn't work this time, he gives a recommendation of how to handle those situations. So
and believe it or not, I think it was George of the Sword, if I remember it right. I'd have to read it. Yeah. And he was yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I am suddenly put in mind of a great, I don't think I can find it very quickly, but it's one of the great Grimtooth's traps. There's a sword you can find buried in a black rock. And when you draw it out, of course, it has a faint blue glow to it and unknown runes etched in the blade that defy translation. The sword is made out of uranium. So you draw it out, and it's alpha discharging, and it's like eating your con and your hit points the longer you have it.
I have a couple weapons like that.
The boulder was lead.
I have a couple weapons like that, and a couple things like that in Dracula in Space, but I won't spoil those. But like I was also reading through like alarms and excursions, some of the old ones, and it talks about doing something similar, like picking up your character, going to another table. And the game store owner at the Green Dragon, which is my local game store here in Charleston, they've been open since 75. Same owner and everything. And he was saying that's how they played it at the store. You would just walk up to somebody's table with a character in hand. Usually you weren't making a new character for each referee's table. It was just sort of like a shared multiverse amongst the players. And that's exactly how I've been running my campaign as of late. And like I said, if you want to come play it with us, it's in the Discord. I guess we'll be hopping to another universe in April when I'm running some games for what was it? What convention is it called again? The online.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Guac. The Guac, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention.
Is that a nod to the Great Underground Empire?
Maybe.
I play a lot of Zork, so
well, of course you do. Of course you do. On that beautiful 386 behind your right shoulder, I hope.
It's hidden behind box sets right now.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. But yes, the Guac, I gotta represent. Hang on a second.
Oh,
this is some year one merch that we have here. This lovely design by Dungeon Minister, a Guac pint glass. I should have had a pint of Guinness tonight. I've got some in the fridge, but yes, we have merch you can get yourself. And unlike some conventions, we actually have all of our merch. You can get any year's merch, unless Dungeon Minister wants to take some of the designs down and then it's gone. But yes, the Guac.
I'll also say Orbital Layer commented on there. So he grew up in Charleston apparently, and was there when the shop was in Scott's house, and it was called Doorway to Fantasy, and that's where he got his AD&D books. Scott is where I got my first taste of Dragon magazine. He still has some, and he sold me some so I could use them.
You're not supposed to eat them.
Right. And then him and Adriana still run the shop. Adriana does painting every Monday, but now you might remember Beowulf, their son. He's now running a lot of the store up there, and he has gray hair now. So enjoy that knowledge.
Nice. I just threw the Matt. I hope you don't mind. Here's your Discord link. I will endeavor to encourage my audience who feels so compelled to go check out the Discord for Matt. And I'm going to warn you, you could reach out to touch something like a wet paint, and you put your hand to it. And the next thing you know, you're telling your wife, no, I can't take the garbage to the curb. I have a Godstein game that I'm running right now. Or alternately, of course I can. The players can take care of it themselves.
There you go.
But yes, that is the Discord. Everybody, it's in the chat. You can scroll up in the chat and find it. But so I love asking this question because I get the deer in headlights look out of the creators every time I do. What's next?
Oh, we have a lot going on.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Well,
Excellent.
that's not an easy. Yeah, that's no deer in the headlights. We've got a lot going on. Obviously, we want to finish up the kit. Well, Matt, do you want to talk
We
a
need
little?
another show.
Huh?
Need another show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
We I mean, from my end, I've got some awesome writing to do on some possibly Arduin related stuff in the future. That could be cool. And then I've got a few more adventures coming out. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to just rewrite rules every couple years and re-release it. So I'm focusing a lot more on adventure modules because those are always fun. And that's like, okay, the game's done. Now I can make cool modules. And then when it comes to like the radioactive boogaloos, I'll always be kind of writing those. Those are my musings and stuff like that. Occasionally they get finished up because I run out of page space, like with Radioactive Boogaloo 1. So, and once they fill up, then they go into printing. And but those are always free as a PDF. You only pay if it's a printed one. Currently, the only place you can get Radioactive Boogaloo 1 is through the Kickstarter if you want it physically. But like the next one's gonna be Radioactive 2 Glue, and then Radioactive Boogaloo 3, just when you thought I was out of ideas. So I've got all my notes ready. I just kind of have to put some stuff on paper after I get done with all this printing stuff.
Question to the guest from Damien: do you call them barbarians or berserkers?
Barbarians.
Barbarians. Okay.
Barbarians.
Yep.
Barbarians.
All right.
So we, as far as Emperor's Choice, we have a lot on deck. Like Matt alluded to, there may be some future things happening with Matt and Arduin. So that's on the horizon, give or take, that things are going to be happening there. Portal to Adventure will continue because to that effect, we are right now laying out the original 4 modules from Dave Hargrave. They're being remastered. So those will be available coming up. We're thinking spring of next year. So we're working on that. Right at this point and in the future, we have new miniatures coming. We probably already have a dozen new miniatures that have been sculpted, that we have some in hand, some are just being finished. So about a dozen or so miniatures to increase our line from 86. That'll take us, generally speaking, we got some more on deck. We'll be over 100 in our miniature line very soon in the next 2 to 3 months. We'll have miniatures coming out. We're doing some visions of box sets of miniatures. So we did something called Legends Eternal a long time ago, and we're still in the planning stage of how we're going to put that together with box sets that form a mural, and you have 8 box sets with miniatures in each one, and you can put them.
That's neat.
Yeah, we did it a long time ago, literally 20 years ago, and we're revitalizing that. So we're looking at that as a project coming forward with new miniatures and some of our bigger miniatures. So the miniature line is going to be enhanced from now through the next year or two. And then, like I said, the 4 Arduin dungeons we have on deck. Also, we're working on, and we've been going back and forth, next Christmas for 2026, we're looking to do the combined Arduin Grimoire, which will be the combined 1 through 9. Like the trilogy set here has 1 through 3, but we're looking at combining all 9 Arduin books plus other things in a beautiful volume, a 50th anniversary, the last edition of the Arduin Grimoire in our lifetime. And we've already have a commitment from none other than Earl Otis to do the front and back cover of the Arduin.
Wow.
And what we feel about that, Dungeon Delver, he was the first one. My copy is kind of beat up. He did all the original artwork in the original Arnecon Grimoire, the very first version of the grimoire. And we felt it was appropriate because this, if everything goes according to plan, will be the last version of the Arnecon Grimoire in one volume, organized. We're going to put all the spells, the monsters. We're going to get everything nice and organized in a beautiful book. And we're probably even going to try to do a bibliography of Dave Hargrave in that book. There might be a couple extra things that we're going to be working on here and there, where it's going to be a tall task, but we're really shooting for it. So that's a big project we have. And we felt with Earl Otis, why not take the artist who was there on the first, and he'll be the last for the Arnecon Grimoire. And if you don't mind, I want to read something. And
no, please go ahead.
This is from AG1, from Dave Hargrave, February 1977. It's in the foreword, right at the bottom. It's the last, basically the last two sentences. The artwork contained within this book is the sole effort of a very talented young man named Earl Otis. 10 years hence, I'll be proud to say, quote, I knew him when, ... end of quote. And we read that, we felt how appropriate. And Earl is very excited about the project.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I back in, oh my gosh, was it 2023? I think it was. We had Errol on the show, and it was such a joy to talk to him. Errol is a great guy, just a quiet, mellow dude, and you couldn't ask for more iconic artwork for TTRPG stuff than Errol. So I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it has such a connection to Arnecon. Like I said, that was the first artist Dave Hargrave used for the Arnecon Grimoire, this young kid who became one of the best artists in the industry, in the gaming industry, one of the most sought after and well-known. And he told us, too, a little story when he did S2 White Plum Mountain. He did the interior artwork where it showed the overland with the mountain.
Yeah.
And he told us that the dragon, Dragoth, I believe, Dragoth Slayer in the corner.
Dragotha, the Draco Lich.
The Draco Lich. He did that as a homage to Dave A. Hargrave. And he told us, Dungeon Delver, when he presented it to TSR, they had no idea what an undead dragon was. And he's like, what are you talking about? Dave Hargrave had that in his game for years, and he laughed about it, saying they were completely stunned to what to do with that.
Yeah, so, that's great. I took Dave, I took Harold some modules to autograph at GaryCon in 2023, and I think it was it would have been A4. It would have been A4, and he's like, oh, I love these. When I do the art, I think of a little story that's going on in the scene. I'm not making fun of me. The guy sounds like Bob Ross. It's like, it's really nice. So like, this guy here is dead. He's screwed. He's
happy little orcs.
Yeah. this guy, the battle could go either way. This guy's doing all right over here. And I was just like, I was beaming my wife. My wife was like, you're nerding out. I was like, yes, I am. Errol is such a swell guy. I really, really enjoyed interviewing Errol. God willing, I'll get him back on the show one of these days. He is one of those, I'm very busy. I have an hour. I will enjoy that hour, and then I have to go. And so, hopefully I can get him back on the show.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, maybe if everything comes to fruition, we can bring him back when we have the combined book next Christmas ready to go.
Oh, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. Oh, David Mills, speaking my language. Errol guest played in an old school game that James Ward ran on YouTube. Of course, we had the late, great James Ward was a guest on the show many times, and he is missed. He is absolutely missed. Hello, Odd Scimitar. Good to see you. So, so you guys have got a heck of a lot of work. Make sure that Matthew stays shackled to that laser printer. Matthew, I'm told if you behave, that they will get you some PPE so you don't wind up with toner lung. But as we come to the apex of the second hour, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about?
Barrow mud.
Barrow mud. Oh yeah. That's we don't have 3 more hours, man.
Right. Just it's a teaser. People will be like, "What the hell's that?" And
that's right. And I was there for the genesis of that. I just want folks to know Barrow mud.
One thing, and maybe if you don't mind, Dungeon Delver, if I could talk about it, kind of feeds into it. There's a special project that we've been doing, and it's a kind of a homage to Dave Hargrave and Arduin. We've been doing interviews, and Griff Morgan has been helping us. He's been doing the interviews for us. We've been interviewing former players and family members, and even former Wizards of the Coast designers of editions of D&D to talk about the influence of Dave Hargrave, their experience playing with Dave Hargrave, their experience, knowing Dave as a family member and doing Arduin. And it's a project that's dear to us. We've been doing Zoom interviews, and we continue to do more, and we want to continue to do more. And we have more guests planned. Again, even some industry people who've had an impact, Arduin has impacted their games, their company, how they game in the industry. Right. And we feel it's important because, unfortunately, one person has passed away and a couple more may not be here long. So it's a history and a legacy that if we don't document, we're doing Zoom interviews, and we feel strongly because you lose that history, you lose what was there. Just like how you guys were talking earlier about games, like Matt said, how Hargrave, back in the day, we interviewed a couple of his former players, and they said that you would bring your character from one person's game to the next, and it would be legit. You could carry that character from campaign to campaign. And hearing how he GM'd, how he ran his games, the excitement, the fight for people to get into the games back then, again, at the primal level of the gaming industry is amazing. And it's great to hear from people. And I don't want to spoil anything now, but some major game designers who have had their influence on them and their designs, even for D&D, came from Hargrave and Arduin. And it's amazing. And it's a history, because we're very big, as you can tell, proponents of Hargrave and Arduin. And we don't want that legacy to die. We want it to exist,
Absolutely. And that is part of the raison d'etre for this channel. I like to hear these stories, and I tell people it's not just about a bunch of us. What was the term someone used recently? Oh yeah, old heads. Just enjoying older versions of the game. People don't really wrap their heads around this, particularly younger people. And I'm not old man yelling at cloud right now, but we live in a time, we are lucky enough to live in a time when a brand new type of entertainment that did not exist before was created.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the types of games. A specific number of types of games existed for thousands of years before a new type came along. And we live in that time. It is important that we preserve this. Who invented chess? What was their thought process? Who created Pachisi? What were their game variations that they thought might be different? We have a little game of black and white tiles that some Viking invented as a war game. We know how it's played, but we don't know who invented it. It's vital. It is vital. The work that you guys do, the guy like Paul does, I try and do in my own small way, regardless of what people might think about crusty old tables and charts and, oh, paladins can only be lawful good humans, yada, yada, yada. That we preserve this because we live in an information age. And I would like to think, whether it's because people are digging through recovered magnetic media or just because it's been put someplace else more permanent, that in 1,000 years, folks can look back and say, yes, Arneson, Gygax, Hargrave, all these other people, and know this is where it started, unlike any other system of entertainment gameplay that we have ever had. So I think what you guys are doing here is fantastic. I think you've really hit it out of the park with everything you're offering, and I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show and showing us all of this. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. No,
Yeah,
this was
thank you.
Yeah, this was great. We appreciate you having us and giving us a chance to talk and discuss things.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversations we've had the past couple times I've been on, and hopefully I'll be on some more until you kick me off for calling you an old head.
Right on.
All
right. Well, anything else? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say I couldn't bring it up right now, but maybe you did. If you want something of the connection between Arduin and D&D and Gary Gygax, our old Kickstarter called the Arduin Fantasy Maps. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, you're going to see a picture of Gary Gygax, who was in our booth at Gen Con 2000, holding up an Arduin map underneath the Arduin. It's right. I just remembered it now, Dungeon Della, and it's like, and 2022 years later at Gary Con that Dave and I went in 2022, Luke Gygax, his son, came to our booth where we were with Black Blade and Goodman Games and did the same iconic picture with Dave and I holding up an Arduin map.
That is
it's a good ending to the story because of all the anger between the two guys over the years. So.
No, and Gary was so nice, so pleasant.
Yeah, he's got the miniatures crawling all over him too.
Yeah, we even have pictures where he had our miniatures on him, and he signed our players' handbooks and stuff that we had for 3rd edition back in 2000.
That is swell. That is absolutely swell. Well, gentlemen, I can't think of a better place to wrap up this evening on such a high note. I want to thank you all so much, Matthew, George, Dave. Thank you all for being here, and Dave, of course, working the crowd. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for catching people's questions there. Big ups, of course, Shellback Bow, Dave becoming channel members. Somebody bought me a pizza who was Poor Arc Child, and Dave again, and Gonzalo, thank you for that. Super. I agree with you wholeheartedly, by the way. Errol Otis, the definitive D&D artist. Gentlemen, please help yourself to some schnapps and baklava in the back room. The craft people are amazing. No, Matthew, you go to the back rooms. They go to the green room. But anyway, so I will put the kids to bed, as they say here. And again, I say thank you. You guys have an absolutely lovely evening. So let me just do this, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Now, for those of you who have clicked subscribe, I really appreciate it. And I hope you will stick around. Tomorrow night, we have a live play of Call of Cthulhu. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Be there for that. I'm going to conclude, as I often do, with a mention of one of my favorite creatures and say that if Gary had not invented the owl bear, well, I'm sure Dave would have. Peace. Good night. God bless you all. And I will see you tomorrow evening.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.